This week on Chair Shot Sports, guys, what's going on? John Anthony here with you again. What a week it has been. So much to cover. Elimination Chamber results, this week's WWE Raw, and obviously AEW's Wrestlemania with their Revolution coming up this weekend. So let's get after it. So let's just start, obviously, this past weekend. For all my friends here in the United States, if you were up at 4 o'clock in the morning for the pre-show, 5 o'clock for the pay-per-view, good on you. We were up at 4 o'clock watching everything, so that was awesome to have. Definitely an experience. Obviously, something that the other parts of the world have to go through when they have the PLEs here in the United States. So it was definitely something that was refreshing. Not too bad though. Not too bad. I got kids. They were up like 5:30, 6 o'clock. It's fine. No worries. Definitely an amazing PLE. So let's get into the Elimination Chamber. Let's talk about that, and then we can dive into everything else and the ramifications of the results from that PLE. So let's just start at the beginning. They had the pre-show match. We had the Kabuki Warriors. They were taking on Indy and Candice. Kabuki Warriors retained. So let me just say before we keep going, I see a lot of things that are on social media. A lot of people have added me, also have commented on some of them when we were posting results that this show was predictable and nothing surprising. Listen, what you need to understand is this. PLEs like this, when they go abroad, whether they're going to France, they're going to Perth, okay? I'm not going to count the one going up north of Canada because that's still kind of U.S. timeline and time zones and things like that. What you need to understand is these kind of shows are, in the scheme of things, house shows. They're a house show for that country. Secondly, being a time zone differential, right? How many Americans, honestly, if we had a poll, a real poll, if I put one on my Twitter right now, and honest, like who got up, who planned on making sure they were up at 4 o'clock, even 5 o'clock in the morning to make sure they're there as soon as it kicked off? How many were actually planning to get up on a Saturday morning? You just finished work on Friday night, maybe you went out late, you got things to do for the weekend. Other people have kids too. Maybe you don't have kids. Who's getting up that early? People like me, podcasters, wrestling analysts, people who do this for a living, they're getting up. The percentage isn't that big. So what you need to understand is this is a house show, a glorified house show for Australia. So when you're booking this, yeah, for us in America, we're like, dude, of course, like Chair Shot Sports, we called it 4 for 4. You know how many other people called it 4 for 4? A lot, more than less, I'll tell you that much. Because it was predictable. It didn't need to be surprising or unpredictable. They've gotten rid of the roadblock PLE. You don't need that. Get out of here. It was just kind of a filler. Vince's idea of, sorry to say his name, FKM, VKM, sorry. But it was like a filler for an extra PLE, more people to watch, more people to buy, get more people to buy more merch, all that other stuff. You don't need that. Elimination Chamber was solely for the fact to figure out who's facing who on Raw, having an amazing Grayson Waller show, and just putting on an amazing event for the people of Perth, Australia. Okay? So I just want to say that ahead of time before I start getting comments and added that, it's predicted. Yeah, cool. You don't see me on social media being like, I called it 4 matches. Come on, man. Come on, mate. It wasn't that hard. But the people there got an amazing show. The way they got to those endings was pretty good, and we'll talk about that as we talk about the results. But I just wanted to throw that out there because see a lot of people here in the States getting really mad, really upset. What are you getting mad for? You didn't 65% of you didn't even get up and watch it at 5 o'clock in the morning. What are you mad about? You turned on Peacock. If you had the premium, you fast forward to what you wanted to see. If you don't have the premium, you fast forward, had to watch 45 seconds or 60 seconds of ads. Good on you, whatever. But like, what are you mad about? It's just so funny. I'm not getting on my soapbox right now. This is not what this episode is for. But I'm not going to get on my soapbox right now and get why people are getting so uptight and so mad. Because one, WWE is taking their show abroad. Okay? These folks are paying WWE to come to their city, come to their country, come to their states, and they want them to put on a show. Two, you were sleeping. You were sleeping. I can guarantee you more than 65% of you were sleeping when this started. You got up and you watched and you read half of you read spoilers, the other half got and watched Peacock, and you fast forwarded to what you didn't want to see. So, with that being said, Kabuki Warriors, Indian Candice, retained. All right, we move on to the Women's Elimination Chamber. Amazing match. Amazing match. Tiffany Stratton showed up, showed out. I've been a big advocate of her. If you follow me on social media, we talk about Tiffany all the time. I remember seeing her in NXT debuting as Daddy's Little Rich Girl gimmick. From what she's been there, horrible on the mic. And Tiffany, if you're watching this, love you. Nothing but love. But listen, horrible on the mic, average in the ring. But this is why, and I've said it before, toward AEW and anyone else that's really trying to get a promotion going with your NWA, with your TNA, you need to have a performance center. Performance center needs to be a thing for you. These wrestlers need to have a place to go train and have the legends, have the guys who are they have the ring knowledge, the prowess, that know how to sell. They know the pace of the match, when to get it, when to slow it down, when to speed it up, how to get going. This is what the PC does. It's exactly what it's done for someone like Tiffany Stratton. Very green, great look. She's obviously had some enhancements in her time in WWE, but a great look. Really coming to her own. Awesome on the mic. Good in the ring. Getting better every week. Especially now being called to SmackDown. And if you're getting called up to the main roster, you've passed the sniff test. People have watched you. Albert's watched you. Sean's watched you. Paul's watched you. Whatever the litmus test is in the WWE to get up, she's passed it. And she's ready to go. And honestly, her match against Zelina Vega was awesome. The moonsault is one of the best in the business. She does an amazing job. Definitely, like I said, definitely better in the ring. So she showed up, she showed out, she was great. Everyone was great in the match. But Becky takes it. Becky goes all the way, takes it in. She will be facing Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania for the Raw World Women's Championship. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about their promo this past week on Raw. Go over to the men's, like we called it. I'm sure a lot of people did. Drew McIntyre killed it. Amazing job with a little help from Logan Paul. I don't know about you, but watching that match was painful for me, watching Randy Orton. Now, whether it was a sell to make him kind of build up and to get back into everything only to get knocked out by Logan Paul, I don't know. But it was cringe-worthy to see how bad Randy looked in that ring. It looked rough. My back hurt to watch what he was doing. And obviously prayers up to hope that it was just a sell. It was just him trying to sell how bad it was in the chamber, because how bad of a structure it is. And like I said, obviously to get down to where we were, for him and Drew to be there and him to stake the comeback and then get knocked out by Logan Paul. Maybe that was the whole sell the whole time. I don't know. But I really hope he wasn't hurt, because if that's the case, this comeback is not going to be as long as we thought it would be. So hopefully, like I said, just to work, just trying to show that, to get all the way up, to get to the last two guys, and to have Logan steal that away from him. So Drew McIntyre, he's going on to face Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship over on Raw, which we talked about. Drew being the only one guy out of a whole bunch of SmackDown dudes. And it goes into what we'll talk about a little later, but it goes into what he was saying tonight on Raw. Is I'm Raw through and through. I don't care about the Blue brand. I wouldn't piss on them if they were on fire. And that says a lot. It resonates. But we'll talk about a little bit of that more when we start talking about Raw. Judgment Day going up against Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Awesome match. I think this match delivered more so than a lot of people thought it would. I've watched a lot of Bate, watched a lot of him in NXT. Had the privilege of seeing him live at Deadline and also Battleground this past year in 2023 in the NXT PLEs. Dude's amazing in person. A TV obviously is good too, but to see it in person is amazing. Guy kills it. He's awesome. For a little guy, being the big strong boy, he really does live up to that moniker. He's amazing. The things he does in that ring with dudes twice his size are amazing. And he does a great job. Does an awesome job. Him and Dunn are an amazing tag team. I hope going down the road, like we've talked about and predicted, with them splitting the undisputed WWE tag titles with SmackDown and Raw, getting their respective belts back. I'm really hoping that those guys get a taste of some gold sooner than later and really are at the top of that tag division on SmackDown. So the big thing, before we get into Rhea and Nia, I think we really need to talk about the Grayson Waller effect that was on Elimination Chamber. I've been talking about it for weeks. I've talked about it on other podcasts. I've talked about it on my shows. This tag match is happening. Going all the way back, everything counts. Everything's done for a reason. Listen, there's a reason why the Super Bowl ad that played 2 Sundays ago featured Rock, Roman, Cody, Seth coming face to face. If you're just trying to sell the main event, what's Seth doing? Seth isn't in this. Get rid of The Rock. You don't need him. It's Cody and Roman. Why are the other two involved? And then obviously, here comes the Elimination Chamber. Seth makes a great, huge announcement, which I talked about a couple weeks ago. His injury, when he talked about months on Raw, that was probably to get him some time, but with CM Punk went down, Seth understood the mission. He understood the assignment. He knew he had to be here. He had to wrestle. That injury is only weeks recovery, 8 to 12, maybe sometimes 6 to 8. Him being more athletic, working out 6 to 8. Seth talks about him being medically cleared within the next week or two. He's perfectly fine going to WrestleMania, which we talked about. Cody goes, you know what? I got an announcement too. Calls out The Rock. Huge pop. Everyone goes nuts. Obviously, Rock and Roman, not in Perth. So it falls on deaf ears. Obviously, they're watching at home. Here comes Seth, standing up, moving forward. Looks at Cody. Hey, classic Toy Story. You got a friend in me. I got your back. If I can set it up right now, we'll talk about this next week when we talk about AEW results and what happens on this upcoming SmackDown, which we'll probably do, spoiler alert, we're probably going to do a special edition Chair Shot Sports after Friday when The Rock is on SmackDown. What happens between him, Cody, Roman, Paul Heyman, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into Raw if you haven't watched it. We'll probably do a special edition because there's going to be a lot to unpack of whatever is said by Dwayne and the rest of the bloodline toward Cody Rhodes. But yeah, with Seth standing aside Cody, what that tells me is, like Seth said, there's no such thing as one-on-one. So let's say Cody and Rock have the one-on-one. Bloodline's going to interfere. Seth is going to come down and interfere. All you're doing is just avoiding the inevitable. There's going to be a tag match. Now, I've said it's going to happen at Mania. I'm not one for walking my predictions back because it's recorded. It's on the podcast. It's here on YouTube. I'm not trying to walk it back, but the way everything's kind of working out after watching Raw this past week, it might happen maybe the SmackDown before Mania. Luckily, myself and the Chair Shot Sports group, we will be at the SmackDown on Mohegan Sun in Connecticut on March 28th. So it's the second to last SmackDown before Mania. So any of my folks that are watching this, if you're in Connecticut, you're in Massachusetts, you're going to the show, hit me up in the comments, shoot me an email, chairshotsports@gmail. Let me know. We'd love to get together with you. We'd love taking pictures with fans. Love talking with you guys. We'll get together for a couple brews. It's always a good time. Regardless. But with that being said, maybe the tag match happens the week before. Maybe it happens in 28. I'd be more than thrilled for it to happen in Mohegan Sun. That'd be amazing. But it'll probably happen the week before. I still have a feeling something's going to involve Mania with all four of them in a tag match. But as the coming weeks happen, I feel like more of that will be revealed, and more of that tale will happen. With that being said, obviously Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax, both Australian. Nia being Australian-born, raised over in Hawaii. Rhea Ripley, obviously born and raised Australian. Amazing to show support from her, for her, in her home country. Awesome match. I think it was a great match. I don't think it was too long. It wasn't too short. It was what it needed to be. Obviously, I knew. I'm sure a lot of us other did, that Rhea was taking that home. There was no way she was losing that belt. Like I said, it doesn't need to be unpredictable. I feel like sometimes we get into this habit with the old regime where we're going to do things, and I'm not going to say all the time stupid things, but we're going to do things where, oh no, I should have tuned in because this happened, but it makes no sense. You're doing it to do it, for the pop, and then the notoriety for 3-4 days, maybe a week, and now you're left the next week with, what do we do now? What's the recourse? Where do we go? What's the path? There was no path. It was literally doing it for the cheap pop, to get the likes, to get the shares, to get the notoriety for 5 to 7 days, and then scrambling around trying to make it make sense, like you're playing chutes and ladders in the back, trying to make the story connect on where to go for the next loss and the next couple wins to come from. So you have to appreciate story-wise. Again, going all the way back, storytelling is a thing. It was a thing back in the 90s, back in the 80s. We lost it for about 10 to 15 years in the 2000s. It's back. It's here. It's here to stay, and I love it. I love it. I can't be the only one. I know there's plenty of other people that I talk to on social media that love what's going on right now. Paul is heading up an amazing storytelling regime. Now, I'll be first one to tell you, I'm not a huge fan of very long title reigns. Now, by very long, I mean, for me, growing up in the Attitude Era, growing up obviously in the 2000s, long for me is 6 to 7 months. That's long for me. The Roman I get. Roman makes perfect sense. I get it. It's almost one of those things where VKM started it, and you got to see it through. But what they've done when they took the baton and they started going with it, where they're going is going to be amazing. Where we're at now with the Bloodline, Paul wasn't wrong at Mania when he said we're in the second inning. We're not done yet. 40 is not the end. But we're going to talk about that more when we start talking about our night 1 and night 2 predictions and where we're going after WrestleMania. It's not the end at 40. There's definitely some more tread on those tires for the Bloodline. And it's going to be amazing. And what the creative has done now with that, from what they were given, is absolutely amazing. And I'm here for it. It's going to be great. So that was an awesome, like I said, awesome PLE. Elimination Chamber was awesome. It was what it needed to be. Great matches, well put. Did everyone know who the winners were going to be? 9 times out of 10, yes. And that's fine. That's totally fine. All right? Because it didn't need to be anything wild. You just needed something to set up the other rivalries in the chambers, in the matches of people who won or didn't win, and setting up their paths to get to Mania. There's a lot of people who still don't have paths to WrestleMania. With saying that, let's talk about this week's Raw. Wow. A great way to come out the gate, especially after the PLE. tying up a lot of stories and meshing a lot of paths that are like this and crossing them, even making them perpendicular to each other. So I don't want to cover the entire show. I don't want to nitpick every single match all the way down. You know, we could talk about the segment with The Miz and DIY and, you know, this kind of stuff going into Judgment Day. I want to talk about all this. I want to just hit the bullet points and talk about things that are going to really just marinate and cook going into next week SmackDown, next week's Raw, and just kind of snowballing their way into Mania. First one I want to talk about is the promo between Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. Awesome promo. Awesome mic work from Becky. Becky's been a little rusty as of late. I feel like she hasn't got a lot of time. She was obviously at NXT doing her thing with Tiffany Stratton when she won the belt before she coughed it up. Did a great job. Rhea, as usual, is amazing. Amazing on the mic. She's a great presence. I talked about, actually, I think a week ago, I talked about how they've kind of, it seemed like they've separated her and Dom. It was interesting to see them back together this week on Raw, with Dom introducing her ever to come out and then her calling him Latino Heat. So it was interesting to see that dichotomy back together. It seemed like they got away from that for about maybe a month, I want to say. So going into Mania season, that might be a thing, having him accompany her going into Mania as the nefarious outside interference if needed. The promo was good. It slapped. Both the ladies know how to hit where it hurts. It was just a good promo. It was a good promo with Becky coming out of the Elimination Chamber. Then obviously getting attacked by Nia Jax, with Nia being upset about losing to Rhea at Elimination Chamber. But again, served the purpose, did a great job. Then we go into one of the biggest things, aside from Cody, is the Intercontinental title picture. And this is telling. This is a mystery to me. A mystery. I've been doing this a lot of years, been watching for a long time. Usually you're able to sit here and kind of pinpoint who's going to do what. This one's interesting. It really is. I mean, you have Chad Gable, who has the personal side of it, getting beat in front of his daughters, Gunther calling him a bad father, just making it really, really personal. Sami saying, Sami needs a path. They do the thing in the backstage, like him and Sami look at each other, Gunther laughs at him, walks away. So Sami saying, if he doesn't come to me, I'm going to go get it. So Sami needs a path. Gunther mentioned out in the ring, R-Truth. R-Truth, I think that was just like a pop to get, like, you know, obviously him saying he reads everything on Twitter. I feel like Truth has his own thing going on. I feel like whatever he's going to do is going to kind of affect the Judgment Day. But it's good to hear his name mentioned. He's always good. Aside from comedic relief, the dude can go in the ring. So, Dom, I mean, I feel like this is some kind of way to introduce Dom into a title picture, being the IC title. I get it. I'm a Dom guy. I'm not saying I'm over for the guy. I'm saying when Dominic Mysterio kicked Edge in the nuts, right? And then clotheslined his own father. So from that point, all the way to February 27th, 2024, the character, the wrestling, and the mic work have definitely gotten better. If he was at a 1, to be honest with you, he's probably right now at 5. But 5 is better than 1. And at some point, if you're going to pull the trigger, you need to pull it now. And if it's going to be in the midst of other guys, so obviously Dom, maybe he's not the guy earmarked to win. But if you're going to do it now. Get him in. Have him in a tourney. Have him in a battle royal. Have him in a fatal 4-way. Whatever you're going to do. Championship scramble. You want to go back in the day. Whatever you want to do. Gauntlet match. Now's the time to have him in. Doesn't look weak. Doesn't come across as being, as looking like he's going to get smashed against Gunther in a one-on-one match. You cannot have him in a one-on-one right now. It needs to be with other people involved. And like I said, maybe it's a gauntlet match. He's like, if there's 5 guys, maybe he's the 4th out of 5. He gets in there, gets his licks in, comes this close, boom, some chops, gets the power bomb, 1, 2, 3, let's go. Bring in the 5th guy who might beat him. I've told you before, Gunther's not losing a Mania. I don't care who you bring in. Get The Rock, get anyone you want. I don't care. He's not losing. He's taking that belt to Berlin. I'm telling you right now, he's taking that belt to Berlin. All right? They've done it for multiple superstars, more recently right now they did it for Rhea. He's taken that belt to his home country. Okay? It's almost like one of those things where, like, listen, we're going to have you lose. All right, you're not really going to, but we're going to have you at least get here and get the notoriety of being the champion. Not to leak on the spoilers that I have or any of my predictions, but Becky's winning at Mania. And I can say that confidently because Rhea has done an amazing job as champion, but you're at the point where, I like to quote Batman, You either die the hero or live long enough to see you become the villain. So Rhea's great. The gimmick is great. But you're almost at the apex of where people are like, you're Roman. Oh, God, lose the belt. Somebody beat her for the belt. This is where you do it. And like I've said before, they kept Becky out of that championship picture, out of the title picture. They sent her down to NXT. Here, go be NXT champion. That's fine. Don't hold that belt for a while. Just get out of Raw and SmackDown. Get out of here. We don't want you in here right now. We'll see you at Mania. Now's the time. Now is the time for it to happen. Becky wins, takes the belt home. Rhea's empty-handed, and I don't know if Dom's going to be involved. But if he's not, obviously who she's going to blame. The rest of the Judgment Day there's another crack in the armor. Let's say they lose the tag belts at Mania. They get split up, whatever happens. Another crack in the armor. The Judgment Day is running along. Judgment Day and Bloodline are running parallel. Obviously, Bloodline is head and shoulders above. They've been doing this a long time. They're running the same route, in the same trajectory. And not for nothing, obviously, the Bloodline was a Two Stooges collaboration with the old regime and now Paul Levesque taking a hold of it and doing what they have to do with it. You don't want to see the Bloodline run that same course of getting stale, hated, not really talked about. And again, it's apples and oranges because the Bloodline, you have Jimmy Uso, you have Solo, you have Paul, you have different aspects of now. You have The Rock in the Bloodline. Like Roman is Roman. People love Roman. I'm a Roman guy. I love Roman since day one. When he was the big dog getting shoved down everyone's throats, loved it. When he came back, smashing dudes, going nuts, getting Heyman as his manager, it was amazing to see. Amazing to watch. With that being said, I don't think they don't want to have the Judgment Day run that same course of getting, we don't want to see it, So I think Mania is going to be a tipping point for that faction. You're going to start seeing cracks in the armor on both sides. And eventually, if I had to guess, probably Money in the Bank. Or maybe some weird, inner stable fight at SummerSlam. I mean, I don't think you're going to get it to August. But if you do, and you're able to get it that long and milk that cow, then get it there. Do what you got to do. But I feel like Money in the Bank, I feel like Backlash is really the time you need to do it. That's really when you got to pull the trigger on kind of getting whoever fight, maybe Finn fighting Damian and JD fighting Dom and an inner war thing going on. I don't know. But if you're able to drag it out to SummerSlam, good on you. But I just don't think you're going to see that faction go that long with them risking it being flat and not garnering the reactions and the eyes on them that they want. So, with that being said, I think there's going to be an IC tournament. My only thing is, you have 3-4 guys from Raw. Do you include SmackDown? Do you include some guys have no path over on SmackDown? Maybe Pierce shows up. looks over at all this. He's like, hey, listen, I got a thing going on. Get some guys. Maybe you want to throw them over here. Maybe 4 from Raw, 4 from SmackDown. Here we go. Or 5 or 5, whatever you want to do. Fight off. It's got to be even, so maybe 6 and 6. Fight off. Get them in all the way down. Have them fight at Mania for the IC belt. Personally, I think it needs to be Raw exclusive. I've said before, I like from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania. I'm a huge fan of the brand extension. I love the draft. I like how people stay exclusively on Raw and not SmackDown. But this is the one time a year where you can see people moving around, making sense for matches, making sense for storylines. Obviously, like over in Perth, you had Cody and Seth on the Grayson Waller effect. Now we'll go to Raw. He got besmirched. Here's Grayson and Cody fight on Raw. Like, it makes sense. That's why it's good. It's good for business. It makes sense to bring these guys over and have them fight because it makes sense for these 3 months, 4 months out of the year. So, with that being said, the Drew McIntyre promo, amazing. I said it last week. I've said it on other shows that I've been on. Drew's work right now is probably some of the best that I can remember, even going back to when he was anointed the Chosen One by VKM. Drew, whether it had anything to do with the contract extension, them looking at him saying, listen, we need you to go out, show us what you got pretty much. Which I don't know why they would. Drew is a draw. Heel or face. Heel Drew is a whole other level. The work that he's doing with CM Punk on the shelf and still digging into CM Punk. And I'm going to take this time to tell you right now, I'm going to go on record as saying it right now, okay? Last week of February in 2024. This man's resigned. There's no way he's going out cutting these promos and building to CM Punk to have him not be in the company in another month or two. This man is resigned. He's coming back. He's in. He's invested. And he said it, and you got to appreciate him taking, Drew gets it. Drew McIntyre gets it. People talk to him all the time. Drew, what's going on with your contract? What's going on? You know what? I'm going to leave it to the internet to talk about because that's all you guys want to talk about. Have fun. You figure it out. He doesn't need to say yes or no. Watch the product. Look what he's doing. Okay? There's a lot of other times where we've watched a lot of people who have not been signed, not had contracts, not doing this kind of work. I'll tell you that much. This guy is laying groundwork. It's going to be Summer of Punk, but it's not going to be Punk and Lesnar. It's going to be Punk and McIntyre all the way to SummerSlam. And dare I say, maybe a War Games match. If it gets that deep, that heated, where Drew is still with some kind of remnants of the bloodline, and maybe Punk aligns himself with Cody, and just figuring out other people, another tag team, you might have a good 6 months of this rivalry. And it's going to be amazing. Amazing television. I can tell you that right now. But I digress. Just talking about the promo that happened this past week on Raw. Drew cooked. Amazing job on CM Punk. Here comes Seth Rollins after he gets called out. Seth Rollins comes down. And by the way, a couple people messaged me. One person that emailed me asking about what I drink. Like, what's the orange stuff in your cup? Unofficially, the sponsor of Chair Shot Sports, Terramana Tequila and Zoa Energy. If you haven't had it, either one, try them. Together, they're amazing. An amazing drink. No sugar, either one of them. Cheap pop, cheap plug. Awesome. Definitely get down to your liquor stores and your local fitness stores, get some Zoa. So Seth comes down, comes to the ring, and the back and forth is great. These guys, Drew and Seth, have great chemistry. Great chemistry. The next 6 weeks going into Mania are going to be amazing with these two on the mic. Drew's awesome on the mic. Seth is an animal. But you have to. This week was probably the most telling of the promos. I think what I got from it, if I could just tell you how I see it, pretty much, Drew is telling Seth, you're so invested in the bloodline, it's gonna cost you your title. And Seth is telling Drew, like, listen, man, maybe it does, but Roman needs to die. The bloodline needs to die. They can't keep that title at Mania. They can't. And then that speaks to also why Seth has aligned himself with Cody. Is it to help Cody? Or is Seth selfishly hitching his wagon to Cody because that's how Seth knows his one way to get to Roman is to take out, as they like to say, the head of the snake. Seth also said something very interesting on Raw. If we don't take out the bloodline in Mania, it's only a matter of time, no matter if you're champion, talking to Drew, or I'm champion, they're going to come for this World Heavyweight Championship. Alluding to the fact that there's going to be another unification where the bloodline only wants the one title in the company and doesn't want a split, doesn't want two champions on both brands. Which, again, everything counts. The storytelling is there 110%. Why Roman craps all over the World Heavyweight Championship on SmackDown any chance he gets, and craps all over Seth. They don't believe in the title. It's the participation. It's the participation ribbon. It's the number 2. It's the consolation prize, because you can't beat the head of the table. You have to go somewhere else and find gold on another show. Find another belt for you to wear to think you're a champion, but you can't beat me. So again, these past 4 or 5 weeks of the go-between between Seth and Roman, and also this promo right here with Drew and Seth, makes so much sense. There's probably a story that I can't even fathom right now that's going to make itself known in the next 2 to 3 weeks from Raw and SmackDown. From what it looks like from this week's Raw, Seth and Cody are probably going to make an appearance over on SmackDown. The Rock is advertised for the next 3 weeks. Here's hoping he's on the 28th in Connecticut. If not, I get it. But he's advertised for the next 3 weeks. He has so much to say. He's booked for 3 straight SmackDowns. So that's going to tell you that Raw is going to be amazing. So speaking of the bloodline, speaking of Cody. So the promo ends. Seth pretty much tells Drew some things are worth taking a chance on. Gets out of the ring. The main event of Raw was Cody Rhodes versus Grayson Waller. Great match. Grayson, and I've said it before, Grayson is the future, man. This guy, hate him if you want. I love him. I love him in NXT. The Waller effect is going to be a staple for years to come. I feel like it's going to be a Piper's Pit as long as Grayson can stay heel. I feel like that show is going to be awesome. It's going to have some great segments, just like it did in Perth. Having the breaking exclusive happen on your show. But I'm a huge fan of Grayson Waller. We're huge fans here. Young guy, obviously has lined himself with Austin Theory. But still, he's an amazing guy, amazing talent, and I think given the right time, which obviously they're waiting for, just kind of waiting to call his shot, setting him up in places where he's relevant and makes sense, making him part of he's almost like the bloodline advocate, low-key advocate in a show, asking people to acknowledge the tribal chief on his shows. If you guys haven't picked that up yet, like just kind of making him relevant in the place he needs to be until he needs to be relevant. And I think that's going to happen in 2024. I think 2024, I know 2023 was a big thing with Triple H. The first year. I think 2024, you're going to see a lot of maturation of superstars who are right there who are just going to skyrocket. We're going to get rockets on their back. A lot of the groundwork is there. They've laid a lot of that groundwork the past 6 months. I'm excited to see it. I know a lot of other people are. So, again, great match on the main event. Cody goes over 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Here we go. Everyone's excited. Here comes Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman comes out, does a little crowd work, looks at Cody, looks at him, says, "Hey, sorry you had to get the proverbial Will Smith slap to the face, but you need to keep The Rock's name out your frickin' mouth." Now, for a lot of people that have known Cody, if you watch Cody in AEW, Cody was the closest he got to that heel gimmick, like the undashing Cody Rhodes, like that heel. That was the closest you got. Like tonight, this past week, was the Cody I've been waiting for. This is the Cody that's going to finish the story. This is the Cody who's unhinged. This is the Cody that doesn't care anymore. He doesn't have feelings. He doesn't care about your feelings. He cares about him. It's all about me. I need to do this. I'm done with this. So Paul pretty much says that to him. He says, "You need this challenge to The Rock. Take it out of your mouth. Take it back. Or else." Cody's in a chair in the middle of the ring, looks right at Paul, says, "Or else what? What are you going to do? I'm sick of this. I've been nice. I could trash The Rock on this mic. I can go on social media. I could be trashing Dwayne all 15 ways from Sunday, but I haven't because we all love The Rock. We've all been fans." Brings up his going back to his dad, Dusty, talking about how ticket sales equaled food on the table, and that's why he can respect, or did respect, The Rock. He did respect Dwayne for what he's done, but not anymore. We're done. It's over. The show's over. A year ago, right, before WrestleMania, Cody was respectful. He was courteous. The Mr. Heyman made the best man win, shaking Roman's hand in the middle of the ring. Right? While Roman's just throwing insult after insult, digging in at his dad, all the stuff. This Cody that we just saw this week on Raw is ready. He's ready to finish the story. After Heyman said what he had to say, Cody got up on the top rope, and I don't want to mess the quote up. He goes, "The bloodline isn't hunting me. I'm hunting the bloodline." Cody is unhinged. He's on another level. He's ready. This is almost like when you're playing the video games and you unlock that achievement. This Cody Rhodes, if this was a video game, has been unlocked. And he's been unleashed. And the next 5 to 6 weeks are going to be crazy. Cody doesn't care anymore. Because it's about me. It's about my story. I don't care about your Rock. I don't care about your Roman. I don't care about anyone in the bloodline. I'm finishing my story. I'm getting that belt. And it's perfect time. I mean, I feel like this is the year. There's no way how you can have Cody not beat Roman. Like he needs to finish the story this year. I mean, you could it can maybe not happen in Mania. I mean, but I just go back to whether you think it was a pivot or it was a redirection or a rewrite in regards to whatever the WrestleMania main event was 5 weeks ago. When Cody looked at Roman and said, I don't just want that belt. I want to take everything from you. Now, if we're still playing on that, okay, so he beats Roman in Mania. Great, cool. He's a champion. He finished the story. right? Or did he? Is there more to the story? And this is what I was talking about as far as I think there's more. We're definitely in like the third or fourth inning of the bloodline. And again, I don't want to get into a whole bunch of it. We still have AEW to talk about. I don't want to go into a whole WrestleMania prediction thing of night one and night two. But aside from the tag match I think is going to happen, Roman drops that belt to Cody. And The Rock said it. Because The Rock is not on Roman's side. He's not. And I'm not saying he's on Cody's side either. But The Rock, what you need to understand is the 2-3 years, again, long-term storytelling. Everything counts. Watching the product. Everything matters. The Rock said, you're going to walk out of WrestleMania the same way you walked in. And that's a loser. Let me ask you a question. If I'm talking smack to my opponent, right? And I'm saying some junk to somebody else, why wouldn't he say, you're going to walk out the same way you walked out? You're going to walk out the same way you walked in, a non-champion. Why do you just call him a loser? Right? I think that's key. That's very key and very, very telling. And again, you can look at what, you can read what you want. You can look at the SmackDown and see where they had The Rock pointing at Roman, putting up this. A lot of us put this one up and you acknowledge the tribal chief. No. Dwayne put up the L for loser. People are actually saying that Dwayne had no idea that it was just the one when you acknowledge Roman Reigns. Are you kidding me? Really? I'm gonna pull an LA Knight. Huh? Come on, man. Come on. Everything's done for a reason. Everything's done on purpose. And for those that caught that, dude, I know I was watching at home going, wait a minute. What is that? What is this? It doesn't make any sense. He doesn't respect Roman. Whatever he said to Cody when that's being told, Cody is going to have a hand in taking everything from Roman and helping The Rock dethrone and dismember whatever's left of the bloodline after Mania. And it's not going to happen in May. It's not going to happen in June. It's not going to happen in July. The Rock is not going to be on every single week. He is a board member of TKO. He is back for the people. The man has a spring football league to run. He'll be in and out. That league ends in September when the NFL kicks off. Guess what that means? Unless he's making some new movie or some sequel, Dwayne's got a lot of time on his hands. September, October, November, December, January, February, March. He's got a lot of time in 6 to 7 months to come in and cause a lot of havoc for Roman Reigns. He'll probably be there at every step of the way for Roman. Every step of the way for the blood. Maybe there's a new bloodline that he heads up. And every time Roman gets a shot, number one contender, knocked down. Gets a shot at the title, knocked down. Roman's in the Rumble. Maybe he comes in number 30. There's no chance Roman doesn't win this match. Rock or bloodline. There and knock him out. Roman's like, you know what? I'm going to the chamber. I'm going to win the chamber. There's no way. Here comes The Rock. We need to understand, too, what we need to remember is, at some point, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's Hollywood Rock. It's Hollywood Rock. That's funny. I don't see Dwayne out here strumming a guitar. I don't see him coming out here in leather vests, and chaps. I don't see any of that. I see Rock coming out in $500 shirts, in sunglasses, giving me the remnants of the late 90s Rock, corporate Rock. Again, listen to the words, corporate Rock, when he aligned himself with Vince and Shane, and he had everything given to him on a silver platter. He called all the shots. The only wrestler to have a pay-per-view named after their finisher. Now, some of you out here listening to this, you might be too young to remember this. WWE rock bottom. The man had a pay-per-view named after his finishing move. Go do your research. Go find the RKO pay-per-view. Go find the Curb Stop pay-per-view. Go find the Stone Cold Stunner pay-per-view. Nowhere. Rock was on another level, ahead of his time, and he was corporate. Fast forward 2024, The Rock has been named to the TKO board with Nick Khan, Paul Levesque, Ari over on UFC. They were like, Dwayne, come on, man, we want you on the board. You know what that gives you? And then he goes out to the Wrestlemania press conference in Las Vegas, kicking off Mania. Rock is like, we're gonna announce a main event. You're gonna love it. Look at this. Look at behind me. Look at this bloodline. Look at this. You're gonna love me and Roman in this main event. Nah. Nope. Gets booed out of the building. And what happens? What happens when you boo The Rock? When you boo the People's Champion? Corporate Rock. You might as well go out there in the crowds and chant, "Die, Rocky, die." So this Hollywood Rock stuff doesn't pass the sniff test. Nah, this isn't Hollywood Rock. He's made movies. He's done with that. He hasn't made movies in a while. We don't talk about Black Adam. But he is the head of the board of his Terramana company, his Terramana Tequila company. He is the co-head of the board of the UFL, formerly the XFL. He is the co-head of the board of Zoa Energy. And now he's on the board of directors for TKO, the sub-parent company for WWE. What you have in front of you right now, even when he turns face, will be corporate Rock. As a heel, making the decisions to affect your faves, the faces, and once he's a face, making the calls in the face of heels and righting the wrongs. But you're not getting Hollywood Rock. This is corporate Rock through and through till the guy hangs it up. So I say all that. The main event is going to be amazing at WrestleMania. Cody and Roman is going to be awesome. I think Cody finally finishes the story. There's going to be some interference, whether it be from The Rock, whether it's from Seth, whether it's from Solo. I don't think it's going to be a clean match. I think it's built that way. I think it's being written that way. I'm not saying that either one needs to look weak or look strong, but if you have interference on both sides, and who's to say at the end of the day Seth turns on Cody? That's also a wild card too. That's something we'll talk about in a couple weeks. What is Seth's? Like I said, Seth has one way to Roman, and that's through Cody. So if Cody finishes that story, Seth has no more use for Cody. So maybe he just turns on him and we go from there. So, but with that being said, talking about Raw, it was awesome this week. SmackDown is going to be amazing. Can't wait to talk about that. We'll probably do a special edition after that episode. I'm sure The Rock will drop some knowledge, drop some nuggets that we'll definitely want to talk about in real time as soon as we can. So shifting from the WWE, from Elimination Chamber, Raw, and WrestleMania, we want to go over to this upcoming weekend, AEW Revolution, their WrestleMania. An amazing card they've built up, that Tony's built up. A lot of great matches, a lot of rivalries that make sense, a lot of rivalries that will get taken care of at Revolution and carry themselves to 2024. So I'm just a lot of notes here. There's 9 different matches. So we'll give you the matches. We'll give you our picks. FTR is taking on Moxley and Claudio. That's an amazing match. They've had a couple matches already on TV. This is almost like a grudge match at this point. For the sake of coming out of this pay-per-view, moving forward, I feel like FTR is due for a split, personally. Some kind of singles run for both of them. Maybe an agreed one of those things, like after the pay-per-view, they look at each other and agreed, like, hey, we need to go our separate ways and do what we got to do, and maybe we'll find our way back to each other. I think Mox and Claudio go over in that match. Also, a Meat Madness match that they've named. That's Lance Archer versus Wardlow and Hobbs. Personally, I think Hobbs should win this match. I'm a big fan of Archer. Nothing really going on for him. I feel like he was kind of thrown into this for a triple threat. Hobbs, I think, should go over. He's hot right now. A lot of people want him to be in do a singles thing, go for his run at the title, any title at this point. It could be TNT, it could be AEW, whatever you want to do. I think with what's going on with Wardlow and him being pushed as like the heavy for Undisputed, I think Wardlow's going to go over. Not decisively, but definitely in a way where you're like, wow, this guy just beat the hell out of two other big dudes. I think that's kind of why we're doing this. Kind of make him look unstoppable. If he can beat these guys, what can he do to Samoa Joe or whoever comes out of that triple threat match as AEW champion? Almost like he's unstoppable. No one else is going to be able to take him down. So I think for TV purposes, Wardlow's going to win that match. Will Ospreay up against Tashida. It's Ospreay hands down. This is Will's first big match, exclusive for AEW. I think you want to make him I can go over as a top tier talent, which he is. No hate. But I think you want him to come out of that match decisively in a big singles role. I think whoever comes out of the TNT title match, I think you're going to see him shoot for the TNT title. I think he's going to jump right up to AEW. I think the AEW title picture is very clouded right now. With the three that are in there and the couple people that are kind of on the outside of that circle. The one thing, too, is you need to remember that MJF is still a wild card. Not a lot of people are talking about MJF. And that is by design. I can tell that right now. It's by design. Go to Max's Twitter. The last tweet he put out was on December 30th, 2023. World's End. Right? That was it. He's gone dark. Nothing. Twitter, IG, nothing. And that's by design. Now, whether he's already re-signed at AEW, he's going to come back. Maybe he pops up a Revolution. Maybe he pops up a Revolution. That Revolution makes himself known and puts himself back into that title picture and makes himself a name. Maybe that's the pop. Maybe that's the plan. Or maybe he is WWE bound. Maybe he's gone so quiet, so the WWE folks who were like, oh, MJF, he pops up Mania night or the night after WrestleMania. It can go either way. Listen, it can go either way. Either one of these companies, WWE, AEW. And that's definitely by design from MJF. Luckily, in the next couple weeks, there's an event going on in New York. I'm going to have the privilege of meeting Max. I'm not asking him anything wrestling related. I'm just going to enjoy the fact of meeting the man. I'm very excited. But who's to say? Who's to say where he's going to end up? But it's definitely a wild card. And you can see in WWE he's kind of faded away. And maybe that's where he's going, or maybe he pops up in AEW Revolution or the Dynamite after Revolution. So you never know. But that being said, Ospreay's going to go over in that. I think it's going to solidify him in the singles, move him up moving forward as just an AEW talent. One of the first AEW title matches that they have is Christian Cage and Daniel Garcia. Now, this match again is very, very complicated. If you're looking at all aspects of everything happening, you obviously have Christian Cage, you have the Wayne family, Daniel Garcia beat Edge to get his shot at the TNT title. Edge is injured, Hopefully it's kayfabe. We hate to see Adam hurt at all. Hopefully he is okay and he's able to go. And it's just storyline written. But I think honestly, what's going to happen is it's almost like it's a 4-on-1. You have Nick Wayne, his mom. You have Kill Switch, and you have Christian Cage. Kind of 4-on-1 to Daniel. I feel like whatever's going to happen, Edge is going to make. I'm sorry, Adam Copeland. I don't want to keep saying Edge because it's not his thing. Adam is going to make himself known. For a swerve, I feel like he's going to come in, do what he's got to do. He's going to spear Daniel and also spear Christian. Daniel's able to get the pin, but he's also going to get his retribution on Daniel for beating him to get to that championship match. But Daniel's still going to go over. So then Adam has two avenues when he comes back. He has him interfering, and him and Christian have that grudge match that we've been waiting for months. And also, if Edge eventually is going to go, if not for the AEW title, is going to stay to the TNT title, he has an avenue to Daniel Garcia saying, yeah, I kicked your ass, but I also helped you win that match, and I want my shot. So it's definitely setting up Adam for a couple roads, and definitely building up him for the next 6 to 8 months of rivalries and getting to either, like I said, the title match or taking on Christian at one of the big events, Full Gear, or one of their pay-per-views. Of course, the title match everyone's talking about is Sting and Darby versus the Jacksons, the new and improved EVPs. This is a variable to me. It's tough to call. If you watch Dynamite this past week, you see that Ric Flair interjected himself, kind of upset, talking to Renee, saying I wish he was more involved in the retirement match. That's why he was brought on. That's why he was brought into AEW, was to kind of be Sting's quote-unquote present to help him out. And he's been kind of left out in the cold. And next thing you know, he's knocking on the Jackson's door. And it's like, what? I know I was watching that at home going, what? So does Rick infiltrate on that end and then help Sting in the end retain and retire as champion? Or does he just have malice and frustration and cost Sting the titles and him going out as a loser to end his career? This match, I think, is going to steal the show. Aside from these, Darby can go. Sting can still go too, man. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he can't. But this match is going to be good. There's going to be a lot of storytelling for a man who's not coming back after Revolution. I would expect him to be on the Dynamite the week after. I would expect him to be on that Wednesday to do a goodbye. Probably no, if I had to guess, no face paint. Just coming out, talking to everybody, and just saying thank you. And whatever weird storyline they want to work, and maybe Rick comes out and apologizes. I don't know, but I think you're going to see one more time Sting on Dynamite after this upcoming week, but as like the civilian, non-wrestling Sting. So that's interesting. That's interesting to watch. That'll be great. That'll be a really good match. Eddie Kingston, Bryan Danielson. The Continental Crown Championship. I think Danielson gets this. I think all roads have led to this. He's been quiet for a while. Got knocked out, not kind of early in the tournament, but never really had a chance or a path to really get there mathematically in the Continental Classic. So Eddie won it. He had his little run. He has all of them, but I think he gives it over to Danielson. Bryan doesn't have much time left. It's injury after injury after injury. The guy's falling apart. He's going to be a great producer, great manager, great, you name it, he's going to do it. But in ring, I think he's just... WWE ran his time thin, really accelerated his clock forward, and he was awesome for it, man. He was a good soldier. He went out there and did amazing, amazing things in WWE. But I think this title winning this Revolution, having a couple months, maybe dropping into Full Gear, dropping at whatever pay-per-view they decide to run. I think it might be that'll be it for him. You might see him regress down to kind of just being like a manager. Kind of just fade away for a little bit. Just kind of time to be home with the kids and doing his thing. But I have him going over the International Championship. Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong wins this going away. Line interference from Undisputed. I'm not a huge fan of Orange Cassidy champion-wise. I like the gimmick. I like the character. I've always loved it in AEW. I liked that on the Indies. When they signed him, it was great. Him and Jericho having the mimosa match, the orange punch match, whatever it was amazing. But just him as champion is tough. It's tough. Take away the hands in the pockets and all the other weird little. I mean, he has a decent move set, but really not something that's attainable and really just can keep for a long period of time. Excuse me. It makes sense for Roddy to win it and bring it to Undisputed. Then it kind of sets Wardlow up to win the title in the next 3 to 4 months. And eventually some kind of Adam Cole taking the title and Wardlow getting mad. It's almost like it's low-key, I feel like it's a la Evolution, where Adam Cole is Triple H and Wardlow's your Batista. And instead of, I mean, he didn't take it off of him, but that's going to be the thing where he's like, you're going to lay down, I'm going to pin you. He's going to take the belt. Wardlow's just going to be that pissed off, and eventually he's going to turn and pick the pay-per-view where it happens, and there you go. Toni Storm and Deonna is going to be an amazing match. I'm here for it. Amazing signing by Toni. Amazing draw by both names. Toni has done great things. I see a lot of people talking smack, kind of shitting on her gimmick. Listen, if you don't like the weird little things she makes, she's supposed to be a 1950s actress. That's what they did. They did weird like movements and things in movies. That's what she's doing. That's why she talks the way she does. Chin up, tits out, watch out for the shoe. That's what she does, bro. Like, I don't understand how people just get mad when they don't understand the whole character. You get mad because, like, it's black and white. You don't understand why she has Luther. She has a handler. That's what they did. They had servants. They had people taking care of them in the 50s. It's a throwback. Like, understand the product. Understand the character. Like, I just don't get how people get this mad at somebody. Like, she's doing amazing work. The lipstick, the talking the way she does on commentary. She had to have done homework on this before she took this character. Like, when she came out of the Outcasts and went into this, like, this is amazing. The way she talks, it's just like, go watch a 1950s movie. That's what you hear. She's amazing. It's great to listen to. It's great to watch. But that run has definitely come to its end. I think Deonna is here. They take that belt from her. She's the one stain from her past she can't get rid of. Obviously, I'm sure we're going to see a rematch. We'll see them cross paths again. But it's going to be great. It's going to be a great match. You'll probably see some interference. Maybe you see Ruby get involved. Other members of the Outcasts, past members, maybe you see them get involved. I don't know. She has a lot of bad blood with a lot of other people. Maybe that's the way. And maybe that's how she gets the belt. And that's the way Deonna wins it. Oh, it was tarnished. Someone else helped you. Okay, great. So we do a one-on-one. And maybe, just maybe, AEW starts building toward cage matches and other matches to block other people out so you can have a one-on-one. With that said, the main event of Revolution. Samoa Joe. Hangman Page. Swerve Strickland. Whose house? Swerve's house. This is going to be a personal pick for me. I don't know. Maybe Samoa retains. I don't know. Maybe Joe keeps it. Swerve Strickland is the move. That's the guy. Okay? This man is red hot. He's worked on his character. He's crafted it. has the whole dance. You're doing that when you're out there at AEW, right? I'm going to Dynamite in April at the DCU Center in Worcester. I'll be there. I'll be dancing. Hopefully, Swerve has the belt. Swerve is the move. I've said it before. WWE dropped the ball on Swerve Strickland. Didn't give him enough of a chance. He tasted North American gold. Should have had a way better run on the main roster, and I blame that. I blame that on VKM. I feel like if Paul was in charge, Strickland would still be there. But nonetheless, he's in AEW. They've put him in different factions, trying to have him run different things. He needs to step out of that. He needs to step out of that shadow. He needs to step into his own shoes and be the man. He needs to be the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. I think it needs to happen. It needs to happen Saturday. It needs to. I love me some Hangman. I do. The man has done amazing things when he was champion, stepping up to Punk, and now getting himself back into the title picture. Joe, such a believable champion. Very, very good being transitional from MJF. Ushering in a new belt. Side plates. Shout out to WWE. Ushering in this new real wrestling kind of thing going on is what they that's their moniker, right? I just think Swerve is the move. One, if you're AEW, right? Let me break it down real quick. Let me get on the soapbox. Let me talk about it real quick before I talk. WWE is at a point right now. Let's take Elimination Chamber for example. Let's take Perth, right? Perth, Australia, paid World Wrestling Entertainment $5 million to bring their product to Australia. Let me say that again. Australia paid WWE to go to Australia. They paid them. And of course that brings tourists, that brings people in. That's not including the merchandise, the ads, all that stuff for WWE. That's business, okay? I see online a lot, and I deal with my own set of it in my comments. I get retweeted. I get people shitting on me. I'm an e-drone. No, man, as you can tell, I'm both, okay? But you need to recognize the business. Why WWE is levels above AEW. And it's not the wrestlers. That's the funny thing I don't get. Now, I'm not making this a big thing right now, but like, everyone makes it about the ratings and the demo. Guys, it has nothing to do with that. Check the business aspect of this. There's countries, when WWE wants to do a WrestleMania, Philly pays WWE $10 million to bring the show to their city. So because this company will bring revenue, tourists, sales. The whole state of Pennsylvania ups their economy because of all the people traveling to that one city, one state for those 2 nights. Probably 3 or 4 if people are making a whole trip out of it. That's what AEW needs to learn from. Yeah, you got Wimbledon. You had it, man. You killed it. Tony had to pay to rent out Wimbledon. That's the difference. That's what you need to realize. And I've been saying this as not a hater. And if you watch the show, if you listen to my podcast, you'll know I watch the product. I watch everything. I'm not one or the other. I'm one to call out their BS and their BS. Okay? AEW needs to start striking right now on the fan favorites. And right now, that's Swerve Strickland. Swerve is hot no matter where you go, no matter what match he's in. Him and Hangman are burning down the house in their matches. Okay? And not for nothing, Joe is an amazing title chaser. He's amazing when he chases. So it's a triple threat. So that's fine. You have Swerve. You have Swerve pin pin Hangman. That speaks to their rivalry. He kind of ends that. And Joe comes out the next night on Wednesday and goes, nah, you didn't pin me. I'm still here. I'm still the champion. You didn't pin me. And here we go. Off to the races. More eyes on the product. And that's funny. What did I just say? Swerve came from where? Oh, right. You don't think WWE folks hear that Swerve Strickland is AEW champion? And they're like, whoa, I saw that guy. Wait, he's champion over there? I want to watch that. I want to see what's going on. I've tweeted about it. I've talked about it. Tony has made some hires. He's made some good moves in regards to creative. He's made great moves as far as their set has come a long way. He was saying that there's some changes coming. I guess they're bringing back tunnels. I don't care for the tunnels. I like the traditional Tron entrance that they have. I think it's worked for him. It's worked for everybody else. They've done really good strides in building videos. Orange Cassidy is the biggest thing. Like Orange's video has gotten amazing. Now that you have 3 screens to build off of. But with that being said, I think AEW Revolution is going to be one of the biggest pay-per-views that Tony and AEW have put on. I think there's a lot of story, a lot of meat on the bones for a lot of those matches. We'll obviously have a results show and talk about the winners and the outcomes and kind of what that trend, what that says moving forward for AEW, moving into that Wednesday's Dynamite. It's just an exciting time. I've said it before. Wrestling's cooking, man. Everyone's doing great. WWE's looking good. The one thing we didn't talk about this week is No Surrender for TNA. We'll touch on that a little bit next week for the next PLE next month. TNA is doing awesome stuff. I'm excited for Mustafa Ali winning the X Division Championship over in TNA, so big ups to him. I hope TNA is able to find whatever they had. I know there's a big outcry for Scott D'Amore around the talent. They want him to come back, not really knowing what's going to happen with him. But hopefully they're able to kind of keep the momentum they had with rebranding to TNA. Ali is an amazing talent. Again, it's one of those releases where it doesn't make sense in WWE. I think he was about to have the run you're about to see in TNA is the run that he was going to have in NXT for the North American title. And whatever happened, led to him getting released, it's sad to see, but I think it's going to be an awesome run for him and probably leading somewhere to the TNA title. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Thank you so much. Next week, we're obviously going to talk about AEW Revolution's the outcome. We're going to talk about NXT Dynamite and the SmackDown where The Rock is going to be coming out addressing Cody Rhodes and the things that he said on this week's Raw. So with that being said, as always, you can catch us on Twitter. You can also catch us on YouTube. It's at Chairshot Sports. If you want to contribute anything to the show, please feel free to email us, chairshotsports@gmail.com. So, without further ado, appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Please shoot us a like and a subscribe if you're watching this. Leave any comments you have below, and we'll talk to you next time. Appreciate you guys.